So we're with Victor from Mendeley at Plug 2009, who've won the competition. If you could tell us a little bit about what you guys do and what your application is, that'd be great.
So what we're developing is a solution for researchers to, first of all, manage their own research paper database. You can just drag and drop your collection of research papers into the software, and it will then automatically extract all relevant information, such as metadata, keywords, and also parse the cited references. And the nice thing about this is then that we aggregate all the users' information anonymously on the website, so we can then tell you what the current research trends are in different disciplines. Say you're a computer scientist, you want to know what people are reading in your field at the moment, you can look it up on Mendeley, for example. And you can then use Mendeley to synchronize your research paper library across multiple computers, and you can also access your papers online and share them with others.
So you're effectively aiming for the Flickr, or effectively the Flickr for research papers, and really kicking them up. And what stage are you at? You at launch stage? You at beta? Where are you?
Actually, to give another analogy, so the one that we're using usually is the Last.fm for research, both because conceptually it's rather similar, about scrobbling metadata and then aggregating it to do recommendations and statistics. And the stage we're in at the moment is we've been in public beta since I think September 2008, and we've been releasing a new version pretty much every 6 weeks since then. And so now we're at a point where we're starting to get traction, and a couple of universities recommending us. So for example, Dartmouth called us the best bet for PDF management. Universities like Columbia, Harvard, so a couple of high-profile people are starting to use this right now.
And how are you guys planning on making money, which is always the important question that people come out with?
Yeah. So, well, there's multiple ways that we try to do this. At the moment, everything is free, and everything that's free now will always stay free. So we plan to have a freemium model. And pretty much everything that we'll develop in the next, I'd say, 4 to 5 months will also be free. But then we'll be adding premium features. For example, if you want to get really custom tailored statistics about a particular research area, then you would have to be a premium subscriber. Or if you want to upload more papers and use more space for sharing, you could be a premium subscriber. If you want to get better recommendations, for example, that would be another premium feature. So that's the first thing that we're planning to do. The other thing is that a couple of publishers have approached us about potentially using Mendeley as a distribution platform for research papers. So the analogy there would be an iTunes for research papers. So that you can search papers from within Mendeley, and you don't have to care whether your university has subscribed to the journal, whether it's I don't know, open access, or whether there's some other way to get it. We just want to get it to you, and it should be as pain-free as possible. That's the second thing. And third, we've had a number of requests from corporate R&D departments who would like to use our Mendeley sharing server as a licensed in-house solution, so that they can absolutely control the environment and see who's sharing with whom without necessarily having anonymized statistics going outside of the company. So these are the three main things. Another interesting avenue might be a little bit down the road perhaps, advertising, because we can do very, very targeted advertising. Say you're a biotech researcher, then based on your library we would know what your research interests are. And if there's a pharmaceutical company that has developed a very specific new enzyme, which is useful for the specific thing we're working on, then we can connect, these two groups. So that's basically the plan.
So who do you see as your competition? Who are you up against? What's your market? Where do you see yourself fitting into that sort of thing? I mean, I think I heard you mention Gartner early on today. Where are you sort of heading in terms of market, and who you're after?
Yeah, so our main target group, as I said, is basically researchers, corporate and academic, students, and also any other person who has to deal with academic knowledge, so consultants, for example. And in the domain of knowledge management software, such as our standalone Mendeley desktop software, the company that I mentioned is Thomson Reuters. they have a tool called EndNote, which is the de facto standard really for managing references. And they've been around for, I don't know, maybe 15 years, and they're selling licenses, which are pretty expensive. And the development hasn't really been that fast because, you know, now they're part of a big conglomerate. And they're one of the companies that would be one of our competitors. But what they're not doing is the whole social aspect that we have. So the sharing and recommendations part that we do. There's actually nobody who's doing everything that we do. But there are companies that do the knowledge management software. There's a couple of companies that do social bookmarking for researchers, which then lets you share the bookmarks, but it doesn't handle the PDFs, which you have already stored. So I'd say it's a fragmented space, really. But the really big guys are probably Thomson Reuters, another company called RefWorks, which has an online solution which it licenses to universities for, I think, 5 figures per year. That's about it.
And in terms of company size, how big are you guys now, and how big are you anticipating growing to, and where do you see your growth?
So when we started out, we were 3 founders. After we got seed financing in the middle of last year, we started to build up our own development team in London. And we have, I think it's 8 full-time developers now, 1 part-time marketing person, an office assistant, a few interns coming and going, so all in all we're about 12 to 13 people at any given moment. And we recently closed a $2 million funding round with the founding engineers of Skype, some people who built up Last.fm, the guy who built up the digital business for Warner Music. So these 2 million basically give us more funds to build up the team. So some areas that we're going to focus on are research and, say, semantic analysis of documents, building up our support staff even more, doing more Q&A. So I think we might be maybe 17 to 18 people by the end of the year. And beyond that, I really don't know yet.
Okay, that's really great.